anytime you get a defense like we got, it's going to be hard to lose, I tell you.
I don't think we've ever had as much competition throughout the squad as we have now.
I'm so glad I don't have to play our defense. Our defense is playing fantastic.
Everybody's been saying 9-7 at best. They've got a surprise coming.
Tonight on the Bronco Coaches Show, the streak has reached 9 straight. Dan Reeves will talk about how he saw the game. We'll take an in-depth look at veteran defensive end Barney Chavis and a look ahead to the final preseason game Friday night in Minnesota. All tonight on the Bronco Coaches Show.
This is the Denver Bronco Coaches Show with head coach Dan Reeves.
And good evening. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Bronco Coaches Show. We're back home in Denver. I have to thank you first off. Last week, I didn't know what we would talk about. You traded Larry Evans, and today you've made more news for us to talk about.
Well, of course, Ron, it's not an easy decision, but I felt like it was a decision that we needed to make and that we could make. First of all, from the could standpoint, I feel very comfortable that John can handle the situation of the starting quarterback. If I didn't feel that he could handle it, I certainly did not want to put him in a situation that I didn't feel that John could handle, and I think he's a unique talent. I feel like he gives us the capabilities of being a better football team with each game, because I think he's going to get better as the season goes along. Certainly no reflection on Steve DeBerg. Steve played extremely well during the preseason, and he's a great quarterback and a great person, and I think Steve's disappointed, as he should be, for not starting, but I do feel like that for the best of our football team, I had to go with John as our starting quarterback.
How do you answer, Dan, some of the critics who say, I thought it would be a decision that would be based on just exhibition play alone? Steve DeBerg was quoted today as saying the decision may well have been predetermined.
Well, I disagree, because if someone had told me before the season started that John would be able to start the season and I would feel comfortable with that decision, I would have laughed, because I didn't think there was any way a rookie could come in here and I would feel comfortable with him starting the first game. So in no way was it, predetermined. I think one of the misconceptions is that my feeling as far as starters are concerned is that a starter must be beaten out cleanly. That's if he's competing with another veteran. I don't think that you could say that the quarterback job was open and that John Elway had to come out here and clearly beat Steve DeBerg out. But when a rookie comes in and competes and is very even with a veteran, then I think he gives you the ability to be a better football team, and that's what the decision was based on.
It appeared Elway was sometimes a bit confused on Saturday night with the offense. Are you going to cut back anything now that you're starting him?
Well, certainly we'll cut back. I think that all of the problems that we had in the second half were not John's fault. Unless you know exactly what we were trying to do and exactly what happened, you can't, blame John. John did not play as well as he would have liked, or as well as he can in the second half, and I think a lot of it had to do with his inability to handle the offense and some of our other players handling the offense. We tried to do some things differently, and certainly for John to be effective, we have to cut down, we have to be more basic, and I think we can be an effective football team being more basic because of the talent that he possesses.
I asked Elway this at 5 o'clock, and I'd like to ask you, people are already fans and members of the press and media applying so much pressure on Elway that he's going to be greater than great. Should people remember during this first year that he is indeed a rookie quarterback, and they should have some patience when they watch him?
Well, certainly. I know this, that he does have more innate ability than anyone I've ever worked with, but that just doesn't happen overnight. He's further along right now than I ever dreamed that he could possibly be at this point in time, because he is unique. I don't think there's any question about that. You don't have to be blind or be a football expert to look at him and tell that he's different. He has that ability, but it's going to take a lot of help from our football team, my coaching staff, and my organization, and certainly from the fans.
You watch him every day. Do you ever look at him yourself and say, boy, if I had his talent when I played?
No, I never have said that. I've just said I'm glad I got that talent on my side. I've said that a few times. But no, the good Lord's been good to me. I can't complain about anything he's given me, and certainly bringing John along has been a blessing. I think the fans are certainly in for a big treat, because unless something freakish happens, John Elway is going to be a great quarterback in this league.
Okay, we'll come back and we will take a look at the highlights from Saturday night when we continue.
first down. Let's go.
Yeah, that's real motivation right there.
Guy's got a bad voice.
You got started quickly again.
Well, we did. You know, it's the first time we lost the coin toss, and the defense got on the field, and they gave us the ball back. Steve makes a fake here. It's a bootleg play to Ron Egloff. He hits Ron, who's wide open on the play, and Ron turns upfield, gets a good block from James Wright right there. It really took a lick. I thought that was a football. Came out, and it was his helmet. Steve hands off here to Gerald Wilhite, and he goes around the right end for 6 yards. And Gerald showed me a lot of toughness in this ball game because he had a real bad bruised shoulder and a badly bruised knee, and he played, you know, in the ball game. You can see Steve's backing out right here. He couldn't set up turning sideways, and he practiced setting up, backing out, and he hits James Wright across the middle here for 15 yards and made a perfect throw right there. Again, Steve backs out. As you can see, he looks to his left, and then he found Barnett, and Barnett made a super catch right here. He got both feet in, right on about the 1 yard line, so it was a great catch by Barnett there. He did a good job of getting both feet in. He's worked on that extremely hard. Another pass here you can see from a different angle. See how he drug both feet and barely got him in bounds. And I don't know that Rick got over right here. It didn't look like it from our end zone film, but it's good to play in Mile High Stadium sometimes and get a break. So, you know, Rick goes over there for a touchdown. At that point, it was 7-0 that we were ahead. And that was an excellent drive that Steve put together. He made some key passes there. This is McDonald going back to pass, and he hits Newsom here as tight end for 31 yards on a real good throw and a real good pass. He's brought down there by J.T. Thomas on the play. McDonald goes back to pass again. Right here, he rolls out. He tries to hit Adams in the end zone, and Roger Jackson makes a good play. That's tough. When a quarterback comes out of the pocket like that, the defense really moved well with him, and he knocked it down. Barr converts on a 29-yard field goal to make the score at this point 7-3. It was good that the defense has done a great job of keeping the team out of the end zone. McDonald goes back to pass here again, and you see right before the half, Randy Grattershire makes an interception. They had excellent field position. They took the ball over about a minute to go in the game, and they did a great job. Had excellent field position, and Randy makes the interception. He laterals it to Steve Foley, and Steve got us in position. We had 15 seconds to go. We felt like if we could get the ball around the 30, it would give Rich a good chance at a field goal. Steve makes an excellent throw right here to James Wright coming over the middle, and James does a good job of getting out of bounds. And that play took 8 seconds, so I was scared to try another play with just 7 seconds to go. We talked about it with 1 timeout left, and we decided to go ahead and go for the field goal, and Rich hits it here from 46 yards out. An excellent kick, had plenty of distance, and it goes through the uprights. Rich has really kicked well through training camp and through the preseason. I look for him to have a great year. And at the half, the electricity was there. Yeah. Everywhere. It was 10-3. We come out the second half, and Luke Prestidge was awesome in the game. He probably had as good a game punting the football, keeping Cleveland backed up. Roger Jackson was there. I think it was Rick Dennison down the ball, you know, on about the 4 yard line. So they started with awful field position in the second half. McDonald goes back to pass here. He hits, I can't tell. Dwight Walker for a long pass there. He pitches back. The ball's fumbled. And I think all the drills that we worked on in training camp of going for the football, we've really had an awful lot of people going. Barney Chavis recovers the fumble to give us excellent field position. We don't move the ball. Luke has to punt again, and he punts out of bounds on the 11 yard line. So again, you know, Cleveland has to start backed up. And when you've got to go 80 or more yards against our defense, it's awful tough. Against any defense, but in particular way our defense is playing. Super play right here by Bob Swinson. He gets Sipe, who's come in at quarterback, and tackles him for safety. At that point, it made it 12-3, plus it gave us, again, excellent field position. And Dave Preston played extremely well behind a good trap block right there by Ron Cody. Breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, breaks another tackle in the secondary, and he runs for 21 yards here behind some good blocking. But he also made an excellent run on the play, and Dave had a real good game. Again, we're held stopped at this point, and Rich tries a field goal that was wide. We get the ball back, and the script not too good right here. Luke Prestidge punts again. This time it's down on the 2 yard line. They go back to pass out of the end zone, and Sipe brings them out to Adams for 18 yards. on the play. It was a big play. You know, Brian really didn't have good field position. He was tough the whole ball game to have to start where he did. Goes back to pass. He overthrows it slightly, and you can see J.T. Thomas makes a real good interception. He returns it, and he puts us again in good field position. Makes a good return, picks up some blocks here from several players, and gets us in good field position. On the first play, Dave Preston takes a handoff on a slant play. He rolls it behind blocking, behind the pursuit of Cleveland's defense. He makes a real good move right there. He gives a guy a limp leg and a good move. Breaks the tackle again right there, and he goes for 29 yards to put us in excellent field position on the 24-yard line. On the first play, they had been coming with a safety blitz. John keyed the safety blitz, went back to the other side, and hit Clint Sampson, you know, for the touchdown. And that was an excellent throw between two defenders right there, and Clint made a real good reception to get it in the end zone, kind of put the game out of reach then at 19-3. And of course, Cleveland went on to drive down and score right at the end to make it a 19-10 final. That's the first time I've ever done that.
You did that
without ever having looked at the script. Didn't have time, so maybe we ought to do that more often.
You could be a sportscaster.
I'd have an excuse if I messed up.
You had a very good look at all your tight ends. Were you pleased with everybody?
Well, I thought they played better, Ron. When you look at the game before they had against Atlanta, they were completely shut out, by our linebackers. And they were involved in the ball game a great deal in this game, and I thought all four of our tight ends, played well. I feel like this game is really going to be important for us, but I feel like the tight end starting position is between James Wright and Riley Odoms. And I think it's going to be important for Riley because Riley, I think, is a guy that should start. If he doesn't start for us, then, I feel like he needs to go somewhere else and play. And I've talked to Riley about it, and he feels very good about it. And so we'll open it up this week and see. And they'll play about a half apiece, and whoever comes out on top will be our starting tight end.
Let me make sure I understand you. You're going to let them both go at it this week, and if you decide to go with James Wright, you will try and make a move with Riley Odoms instead of letting him sit here.
Well, I think that's the way Riley would want it. I'm going to give him I don't think we can make a trade because that's very difficult to do, but I do think that Riley has been an important part of this football team, that if he wants to play football and he's not starting here, then I would give him the chance to go where he wants to finish his career. And if he doesn't want to do that, it's going to be strictly up to Riley. I'm not saying that he won't start for us because he's really improved the last couple of weeks. He's got his weight down to where he's moving with some quickness now. He blocked well in the ball game, and he's played well. So it's got to be another one of those tough decisions that we have to make. And I talked to Riley today, and I think he feels good about the situation and feels that it's a challenge, and he's accepted it so far in training camp, and I expect him to this week.
Good. You moved Wade Manning today from wide receiver to defensive back. Can you talk about that change a little bit? Well,
we felt like Wade would not make our football team as a wide receiver, and I wanted Wade to make that decision. I didn't want to say you got to move to defensive back if that's not something that he felt like he wanted to do. I would go ahead and put him on waivers and take a chance on somebody picking him up. But he had been a defensive back before, and we felt like we could have the chance to maybe develop a guy if he showed us enough at the defensive corner position, which that's where we'll play him, in this next week's practice, and he could possibly make our team as a defensive back and use him as a development-type player that could help us in special teams area this year, and then, see what he can do as a defensive corner. And so he accepted that challenge, and he worked well today at the defensive corner position. And it's be a tough job for Wade because we don't have a long time to look at him. But he felt like it was an opportunity for him, and that's what he was looking for.
Dan, he's only really got 1 week's time. Can he impress you enough in that short a period?
Well, certainly if you were going to 45, I'd say no. But if you're going to 49, then there are going to be some positions that you have the ability to keep someone like that if you think he has the ability to develop at a position such as a defensive corner.
Zach Thomas, I thought, had a good game. Is he getting closer and closer to making this team?
Well, certainly he has enhanced his chances, Ron. It's very difficult for me to say right now without the game coming up to see what happens. But Zach has done everything that we've asked, and he's been impressive. And for a rookie to come in and a rookie free agent to do what he's done, he's coming off a long way. And I do think that whether it be here or somewhere, Zach can certainly play, in the National Football League.
It's time for the Wrangler Player of the Week awards. I know you had some tough decisions because you had a lot of outstanding performances.
Well, we really did. When you look at Barney Chavis, he had a trap in the ball game and also had a fumble recovery, and Randy Gradishar had an interception as well as 2 other tips in the game and made an awful lot of tackles. So we felt like that Barney Chavis and Randy Gradishar were co-defensive players of the game. Dave Preston was outstanding as the offensive player of the game. He made 2 outstanding runs in the game. He blocked well, and so Dave Preston is our offensive player of the game. I talked about our defensive players, Randy Gradishar and Barney Chavis. Our special teams player of the week is Luke Prestridge, probably the best punting exhibition I've seen in pro football. And because of that, he's also our overall player of the week, and they will receive gift certificates from Wrangler.
Okay, that sounds great. We will come back, and speaking of Barney Chavis, we'll have a talk with him when we continue on the Coaches Show. This has anchored the Bronco defensive line. Here's more with number 79.
If Randy Gradishar is the leader of the defense and Billy Thompson was the heart, Barney Chavis is its father. The 32-year-old Chavis, now in his 11th year, is looked up to. And after a decade of pro football, it's still fun.
Each year, it's a new challenge, you know, and this particular year we have a new quarterback and, you know, a lot of new personnel, and every year is exciting. It's different.
Chavis in his time has watched a lot of teammates come and go. This year, Larry Evans and Greg Boyd.
I know this is the type of business we in. It, you know, it calls for that sometimes, but when you become close to people, when you establish a relationship, I've been with Larry something like 7 years, and Greg Boyd something like ever since 1980. You know, it's hard, but that's the name of the game.
He's a sensitive man, and that was never more evident than last year in training camp when he bid goodbye to the retiring Billy Thompson.
I've always learned to try to love my teammates, to try to, you know, they're more like a brother relationship. And this relationship will last as long as we live, regardless whether we're in football or what. You know, I always want to have a relationship with my teammates, and Bill Thompson especially was really a brother to me. So go back this way, I got it. Get it.
Got it.
Oh,
Barney's a family man, loves to hunt with his son, and age has heightened his feelings for them.
He was mine. He's mine.
Dad.
He was mine.
Really?
You got it.
You got it. I'll let you have it. Dad. As I become older, the more I feel the importance of a family relationship. That's very important to me. And I just be with my family now as a way of getting away, you know.
Sure.
And I really enjoy that particular part of it, my wife, and you know, we're just coming closer as I, you know, become older, and I like that.
How do you want all the fans who have watched Barney Chavis the last 11, 12 years in Denver to remember you?
Just remember you as Barney Chavis, really. I've always tried to play consistent football and try to be a consistent person. I don't always, you know, at times we have ups and downs in life, but I've always wanted to be consistent in life, and just remember me as a consistent person.
You've been here for a decade. Do you get some of the players that you play with who are maybe now retired, still living in the Denver area, saying, Barney, you're getting a lot grayer, a little top on the sides?
It's becoming more and more evident now as I get older, but it don't bother me, really. A lot of us don't live to get gray.
Amen. We know how he feels. We'll be back and wrap things up in just a minute. And at one point you told me you've received a little mail over the decision that you made public to have the team wear white for the first part of the season.
Of course, I didn't make it public. I just made the decision that we would wear white in our first few home games because I feel like, regardless of what people say, it's hot in Denver, and it is cooler. And any advantage that I can get, I certainly want to take. I think the other thing is that rather than every game being us in orange and the other team in white, you do get to see more color of the visiting teams, and we still are going to wear our orange jerseys, you know, toward the end of the season, and particularly we're going to kick it off this year, you know, with the Orange Sunday, which I believe is going to be against the Chargers sometime late in the season.
So you will use it, in other words, a first really big game, come out with those orange uniforms for that little extra?
Well, we have to now. Now, if we're undefeated in those white ones, it would be tough to come out in those orange ones. Huh?
That's right, it is.
No, I don't think jerseys win football games for you. And our football team, I think, plays with a great deal of enthusiasm, whether they're wearing white or whether they're wearing orange. Certainly, I have nothing against orange. I think it's a beautiful color, particularly in Mile High Stadium. And, you know, I'm very patriotic. I certainly have nothing against orange. But I do think that it does make it cool if we wear the white jerseys.
Hey, 9 straight preseason victories. Do you think about that a lot, or do you think, like many of us do, that it's the preseason and I don't put any stock in the fact that we win a lot of games then?
Well, I think it's important that you win at any time, and certainly I feel like it was important for us this year that we win because we were down from last year 2-7. I think we had to develop a positive attitude, and I'm excited about the season. I'm excited not only because of, say, John Elway, having him. I think our defense is playing extremely well. We got an awful lot of competitive positions, and we're going to be a better football team.
I want to thank all our studio audience tonight. Thanks for coming out. A lot of you folks from Weicker Moving and Storage, we thank you. That is our show for tonight. Glad you could come by, and best of luck Friday night, and we'll see you again Monday night.
Good. Look forward to it.
All right, Dan. That's it for tonight. Good night, everybody.